Hello, Empowered Warriors. Welcome to episode 19. I am so ecstatic today because today I have my very first podcast guest. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's so exciting. And I honestly can't think of a better person to have as a first guest because this lady has an energy and presence about her that is so infectious, and she will light up just about any room that she enters. What's unique about Jen is that she has a business whose philosophy is all about bringing the fun using dance wherever she goes, whether she's working with a client one-on-one or whether she's doing a public event someplace in the workplace. Most of the time you will see her wearing a colorful unicorn and rainbow tank top, and if you're lucky enough to be in her presence, even if it's a Zoom call, chances are the meeting will start with music and dance. She is just so much fun. So it is an honor and a privilege to welcome Jen, aka the Unicorn, Stillion. So stay tuned. Welcome to the Empowered Warrior podcast. My name is Angela Noel, and I am an intuitive coach, acupuncturist, and Chinese herbalist. This podcast is all about empowerment, meaning how you can maintain your personal power in order to have the best life beyond your imagination. An empowered warrior is someone who has the identity of a person who is healthy, radiant, and free from all suffering, and has the tools ready and available to move through life's obstacles with confidence, ease, and a sense of freedom. In this podcast, I bring over 16 years experience in Chinese medicine, countless years of self-development, and a passion for helping others find their personal power. I will be discussing just a few of my favorite topics regarding health from a Chinese medicine perspective, brain habits, and spirituality, so that you can quickly pave your pathway to freedom and be free from the chains that have kept you stuck. My intention with this podcast is to serve as a guide for warriors who want to form a healthy foundation of body, mind, and spirit, and sustain it by changing who they are being from the inside and having a stronger connection to their higher selves. My goal is to help students end the unnecessary suffering that they place on themselves by having poor health habits, negative thought loops, and a lack of self-worth. I am so happy that you're here. Hello, warriors. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited because today on this episode, I have a very special and my first guest, Jen, the Unicorn, Stillion, Jen Stillion.
Yay!
Welcome, Jen. I'm so excited to have you. Okay, so Jen is a speaker and an abundance coach and your personal fairy unicorn guide who's helped thousands of people transform and manifest joy in their lives with wellness, dance, and pure fun. Yay, Jen.
Yay!
I'm so happy that you're here.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Angela.
Yay, yay, welcome, welcome. So I'm just curious, if you could just tell the audience like who you are and how you help people.
Oh, I would love to. So as you can tell through my energy and through my, persona here, I say yay 50 million times because that's like my theme of my life because I love to have fun. And, being a dance educator for 20 years and working in personal development for over 10 years and really honing in, the lessons from dance, not just physically teaching dance, but all the lessons that dance brings because, I'm all about who you are on the dance floor is how you show up in life. And we could talk about that more later, but I've taken like the metaphor of dance and I combined it with all the wellness stuff that I've learned in my own life and all the wellness techniques and tools I've studied for years. And I kind of combined it. And this is what I speak about. This is what I'm about. I'm all about abundance because, you know, you may or may not realize this, but dance is in the word abundance. Did you know that, Angela? Did you ever like notice that?
Well, I knew that because I know you, and I also, in the beginning of the shutdown, there was a local business, a dentist, who got a bunch of us female entrepreneurs together, and we did an AbunDANCE challenge, like remotely. But this is a total new concept to me, so I'm so excited that we're talking about this.
Oh, I love that they did that. That's amazing. So yeah, I take AbunDANCE and I run with it, you know, because dancing is all about the full expression of abundance, right? There's no surprise that dance is in the word abundance, because wouldn't it be amazing to live our lives, you know, as a sweet dance, right?
Yeah.
So I take all of that and, you know, I put it into speaking, and I have a wellness program where I help corporations and nonprofits, and I have an employee wellness program, and I get people up and moving and having fun and teach them how to take care of themselves so they can have a thriving company. But yeah, I do lots of things, but it's all wrapped in a bow with fun and dancing and joy and abundance and all the things.
Those of you that know Jen, or if you don't know Jen, if you just look on, it's your Facebook page, right? I think that's where I first saw you in action, Jen, where you had your rainbow tank tops and your unicorn and was it your pink like tutu or something?
Yes.
Unbelievable, amazing outfits.
Yes, I'm a 43-year-old unicorn. I mean, really, that's what I am. No,
You are.
I'm a kid at heart, and I've been a children's music and dance performer for many years. My husband and I own a mobile music and movement program, so that's something I do on the side. So yes, you will see some outfits of Jen the Fairy Dancer. Very fun.
I love that. And for you, like, what specifically do you love the most about what you do when you're working with people and when you're out there, just putting yourself out there, having fun, wearing the unicorn tank tops? Like, what brings you joy the most when you're doing that?
My favorite thing, this is going to sound so bizarre. My favorite thing is when I show up to a speaking gig or I'm working with a client and I see how uncomfortable somebody is. They're uncomfortable in their body. They have uncomfortable energy. And then when I talk about dancing, not so much with the one-on-one client, but with like a group of people, like a presentation or a keynote speaking event, oh my gosh, half the room are like mortified and the other half are excited, right? But it's the people that I come to them and they're like, what is this unicorn, bright, fairy, joyful person here? And there's an uncomfortable energy. But the greatest thing that I feel like I can give to people is to help them get out of that energy, to shift it. And after my presentation or after I'm working with the client, oh my God, that is the greatest joy to see the shift that happens, because they get into that uncomfortable zone. And that's why I love about dance, because dance gets you out of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
So that's my greatest joy, is to see the shift that happens.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. To see that, I can just imagine too. And I may have even seen a video of you like working your magic in the workplace. I remember seeing this like group of ladies and they were just kind of like, I'm at work. I don't know if I should do I do this at work? Is it appropriate to have fun at work? And then they're just like cutting it up by the end. It was just so much fun to witness that.
Yep. It takes a process sometimes to get out of our heads. But, you know, we have to get out of that overthinking and all the things in our heads and get into our body and let go, right? Yeah. I'm sure, Angela, you see that in your work too, the shift that happens.
Oh, totally. In fact, I mean, one of the things that I do with my clients as well is when they're letting go of an old story or something that no longer serves them, that they basically use like dance or like just to blast their favorite song. Like, I think you like to do that too, right?
Yes.
Just sort of like integrate using movement, using joy to really get it into their system so that that's how the brain, right? When the more we learn about the brain and understand the brain, like that's how change happens. That's how we form those new neural pathways.
Yep.
So I love that. I love that so much.
Yes.
And how did you come up with the idea about just the rainbow and the unicorn? Like, how did you get your name and that persona? Just curious.
Well, I love the 80s. Okay. So, I love the 80s. I love me some Rainbow Bright. Rainbow Bright. That's kind of like, that was my inspiration. Rainbow Bright and Strawberry Shortcake and Care Bears and Madonna and all the 80s persona. And I kind of put that together, and that's for my kids stuff. That's my kids' business. And that's how I became, and ever since I was a little girl, I've always loved unicorns. It's never stopped. I know unicorns is like the craze. It has been the last few years. Yeah. But I'm like, you know what, excuse me. I have loved unicorns since I was like 2. So something about unicorns, it's not just something, it's what they represent, right? They represent power and magic, and they're unique. And I look to unicorns because they remind me of who I am and who I strive to be. So that's kind of how I created the whole Jen the Fairy Dancer persona. And I bring that a little bit into my adult stuff, my adult branding, because even though it doesn't matter how old you are, you still are a kid. You still have permission to have fun and let go and be silly. And
so many people, I feel, unfortunately lose that, right? So it's you're such a great reminder and embodiment of just bringing out that inner child that I believe is within all of us and is dying to come out. So yeah. Would you agree?
Oh, I so agree with that. And that's the thing, as you get older, you lose that part of yourself. Like, you don't give yourself the permission to have pleasure and to have fun and to really just allow yourself and make time for that part of yourself. As adults, we get so serious, and life isn't supposed to be serious. It really, we got serious. There's serious things that happen depending on your interpretation, but it's like, don't ever lose the inner child and the joy and the fun, because it's not for kids, not just for kids, for all of us.
It's for all of us. Yeah. So Jen, I'm just curious, this like commitment to fun and embodying fun and, the unicorn and rainbows and everything. I'm just curious to know, have there been times when thinking about the audience of this podcast, it's called The Empowered Warrior, and basically it's all about empowerment and teaching people that anything is possible. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious, in your experience with either your work or in your personal life, are there one or two, like, can you think of like one like really pivotal moment, or maybe even 2 stories where you really learned that to be true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To be honest, it's not all unicorns and rainbows, Part of being a person who is in the light, I'm a very, people say you're such a light, for me to shine bright, for all of us to shine bright, you really know what the darkness is. You've been through the darkness, because you can't live without the other, right? We've all had times in our lives where it really sucked and it was really hard. And that's not even a story. It just was. But that's part of our, part of being a human being, right? And one of my pivotal stories, we're going to get a little deep. Are you ready, Angela?
I'm ready. Bring on the deep, Jen.
The reason why I am the way I am and do what I love to do is because of the stuff I've been through. And, I am a step parent, and my stepdaughter is 22 now, but I met her when she was 9. And part of, our journey was that by the time she was 13, I believe, 12 or 13, she was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And even before then, there was lots of signs of her cutting herself, to lots of anxiety, lots of outbursts. Somebody who has borderline personality disorder goes from 0 to 10 in 2 seconds. It's very volatile to live with someone like that. but then eventually led to suicide attempts. And so I told you guys, this is getting deep. So living with a child who was going through this, you know, and top that off, she was a teenager, and it's just me and my husband and her, you know, it completely turned our whole lives upside down. I mean, she was in and out of institutions, and it was hell. I mean, it was hell. And during that time in my life, I completely lost myself, my identity. I had PTSD because of the certain things that I've seen. And it went on for quite a long time, a few years. And, you know, I was at the end of my rope. And I remember there was a pivotal moment where I was in my closet, because that's where I would go to run away from her and my husband, in my closet. And I was doing shots of vodka, no joke. And I realized this is rock bottom. And so that was a moment for me. What do I need to do to take care of Jen? No more taking care. I didn't even know, I had no voice. I didn't even know what it meant to be to step into your power. I didn't even know what that meant, because I kept giving my power away to this girl who I was just trying to save. You know, you can't really save anybody, and I was giving my power away to my husband, and I was giving my power away to my business, and every single aspect of our lives, our business, our finances, it all came crashing down. And so I was just living in this victim mode. And that was the moment where I was like, so from then on, that's when I started to really, and I've already done years of personal development, but that's when I really upped the game. I was like, no more of this, because I completely lost myself. And, you know, when you are not being in your power, you are giving away yourself constantly. Right. And that's what I was doing. So I was lost. I was overgiving and I was lost. And so that was the moment where I made the choice to change. And it took time. And all I did was focus on me. That's all I did. I invested in like a coach. I invested in, you know, a personal development program. That's when I started to, you know, really get the help that I needed and just completely focus on me. And that's when it changed. So I got a little deep, you guys.
Got a little deep. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Jen. That's really powerful and a really strong testament to why it's so important to take care of ourselves first, right? Because when we take care of ourselves first, and I feel like the cliche, you got to put your oxygen mask on first, is a cliche for a reason, because it's true.
Yeah.
But so many people, especially women, were taught, I think it's a society thing, to take care of everybody else first, right? And we've traditionally been rewarded, especially in, like, I think we're in the same generation and older. I think the younger generations are starting to get it more, but we're rewarded for being these women, you know, women who do it all. And how do you do it all? Like, you're so amazing because you do it all. And what people are starting to realize is that no one wins, right? Especially when the person that's kind of the director of the household is not feeling good, right? It just ripples into everywhere else. So that's really powerful. And how long ago did you realize, like, hey, like, this has to stop, like, it's Jen time? Like, how long ago was that?
I want to say that was 2015, because I was going on for 8 years before that. So
wow,
15 or 16. Yeah. And, that's when I was like, oh, hell no, I can't do this anymore. And yeah, like what you said, Angela, is that, you know, I learned, and this is what I teach now to women, is that we find our worth. We feel like we matter if we keep giving all of ourselves to other people, right? We feel validated. We're like, oh my gosh, I did this thing for this person. I'm going to constantly say yes to everybody, give, allow this person to talk to me the way that they talk to me, and no boundaries, because guess what? They're going to love me, you know, if I keep giving, and I feel validated. I feel like I matter. And we find our worth in others, not realizing that all of that stuff doesn't matter. It's how you know, view yourself and how you feel like you matter and your own worthiness. And that's what I had to learn. So with my living in this environment with, a sick, and she was just a kid, she's amazing now, by the way, to end my story. She's amazing now. She's incredible. And she has two babies. I'm a grandma. Yes, I am. I'm a grandma unicorn.
Congratulations.
But I had to go through that, for me to feel like to know my own power. And that's why, like you, Angela, I know you do this for other women too, is that it's like my mission is to empower other women to do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so true that, in order to realize our power, in order to find our power, we need to go through almost that dark phase of the soul, right? Or what they call the dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
To realize like, okay, like this is what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the things that I talk about with this audience and with clients is the idea of alignment and
Mm-hmm.
what being out of alignment, because it's not something that's taught often unless you have like incredible parents or you learned it in school, but not the norm, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it's in regards to feeling in alignment versus out of alignment, a lot of times we get everything that we need from our higher self.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's easy to just ignore it like, oh, but so-and-so wants me to make them a cake, or so-and-so needs this from me, again, because of that whole like wanting to feel loved, wanting to feel accepted. But do you feel now at this point that you have a general idea of what alignment feels like and what being out of alignment feels like when it comes to making decisions?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know what that meant either. I was like, why is everyone and their mom talking about alignment?
Yeah.
And now I really, and the thing is, I mean, we know this, we know the difference between understanding and knowing, right? You can understand something like a broken arm. I've never broken an arm before, so I don't even know what that even feels like, but I understand what it is, right? So I feel like that's what alignment is. Like, you may be nodding your head right now, oh, I know what alignment is, but do you really know it?
Yeah.
And you only know it when you're out of alignment. Because for me, like, my highest value is well-being. Like, if Jen is not well and doing all the things to manage my energy and be well, that's when I slip into not being aligned with myself. And alignment for me is like really lining up your values and, creating your whole life around those values. They have to meet your values. So I know when there's days or weeks where I'm not honoring my highest values, that's when I feel like that's when I don't feel like my best self. And then I'm realizing, why isn't things creating the way they're supposed to or flowing the way they're supposed to? It's because I'm not aligned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and it's a practice. It's not like, it's a practice.
It certainly is a practice. And I think just to fully be aware of it, like, oh, this is what's going on, and then realize how it shows up, because it shows up differently for everybody. Mm-hmm. Like for me, it will show up as I'll forget things, or I will space out. Like, I'm usually pretty good at showing up for appointments, but I'll forget appointments or drop things. So, for those of you listening too, warriors, like, if you're somebody who identifies as someone who, like, things just happen, like things never happen the way I want them to work out, or why does this always happen to me, or I'm always dropping things, like, that might be an invitation. And oftentimes it is. I'm willing to bet that 99.9% of the time, that is a sign and an invitation to go inward and figure out, how am I aligned and how am I not aligned right now? And just ask yourself those important questions, because chances are your inner self is your inner knowing and your inner guidance and has all the answers for you. So Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, this is such a fun conversation, Jen. I'm so glad that that we're having this conversation today.
I know. I love it. Yay.
So I would love to just, I find I know we've chatted before about your background, and I hope you don't mind sharing this, because I find that you have a very, you've talked a little bit about your background, but you have some talents, like some inner talents that, like, didn't you say something about you're a mime? And
OMG.
I find that so interesting. If you wouldn't mind sharing, just, first of all, what some of those hidden talents are, maybe not so hidden, and what caused you to get into some of these things.
I love that you brought up the mime. Oh, this is my secret sauce. No, I've been performing since was a little kid. I love to perform. I have been in theater and sing. I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, actress, and I'm a ham on stage. I am.
And all the time.
I know, probably. I love to speak, and so, in my 20s, I really wanted to kind of further my performance abilities. I was already a dancer. I was kind of like the modern dancer and mixed with jazz and hip hop. And yeah, I found this private international dance school in Pasadena. I'm in Long Beach, California. So it's literally just like 45 minutes for me. And it says it was a dance school. Did not know it was a mime. Okay. I did not know mime was involved. So that's the funny thing.
Oh my gosh.
So it did say like you'll study some mime, but I was like, I didn't know it was a full-on mime school. But I felt like I was called to do this. I was like, I need to do this. I think I was 26. I was a little bit later in my 20s, 26, 27, maybe around there. And so I went for a whole year, and you could not have a job because the schedule was insane. You literally had to you were working training for 7 days a week. Wow. And so it was one of the most tense things, but it was an international school. I think me and another American was there. It was people from all over the world, which was really awesome. There's probably maybe 50 students, and you had to be accepted and go through this whole process. So yeah, I studied full on mime by two masters who literally studied underneath Marcel Marceau. Marcel Marceau is the, I don't know if you guys know who that is, but yeah.
Mime guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I full on got into mime, you guys.
So cool.
Yeah. And it was mime, it was dance. It was, I learned about communication, if anything, because at that time, statistics said 80% of all communication is nonverbal. And I learned this skill to where I can tell a story using my body. And, after we were done with the school, we traveled all over the United States and performed on stages and stuff like that. So it was not just like white face and the put you in a box kind of a thing. It was way more than that. So I could have continued the education and go on and become a master in mime, but I was like, okay, 1 year is enough.
Mm-hmm.
But yes,
that is so cool. I just love hearing the hidden nuggets about a human being. I just find to be so interesting. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And I find that just fascinating. So
you can say a mime. Yeah,
I do know a mime. I think you are the first and only person that I know right now.
Ooh.
Perhaps. So Jen, I'm just curious, as far as your business goes and how you help people, if you could just sum up in one or two sentences, where you see yourself going with your business as far as helping people, serving people. Do you have a sense for where you see your business going in the future, or do you feel like you're in a good place right now?
Yeah, I'm in a great place now, but yeah, I see a lot of things happening, part of being an entrepreneur and is, you create these visions for what you want to do. Cause ultimately I just want to help as many people as I can. So I'm constantly growing, constantly evolving. So is my business reflecting that. But where do I see myself? I do see myself, I know, because of 2020, doing a lot of virtual, speaking events, but eventually when that is lifted, whenever that is going to happen, My goal is to, just speak all over the world and really help people get out of their overthinking, get out of their stress, get out of their anxiety, to really hone in who they are and empower them to become, their true abundant self. And so that's kind of my mission. Yeah, I'm creating some online programs in the midst of it, but I love to speak and I love to connect people that way. So that's kind of like the overall, kind of like the vision that I see. And you never know what's going to happen. Obviously, you just create the vision and you let go and you just run with it and see what happens. But I love doing that. And I love being a coach and helping people one-on-one or group coaching to shift people and meet them where they are and be their guide, and support them and meet their goals and their visions for their life. So I see some great, fun, amazing things. I'm excited.
That's some good juicy stuff right there.
Juicy stuff. That.
So for those that are listening to the audio and you're not watching the video, Jen has this infectious energy that I'm sure you can sense in her voice, but when you see it on video, it's so clear that she is a natural at what she does. And if you are looking for an inspirational speaker in the future, keep Jen in mind, because I think you're going to be doing some big things pretty soon. Are you?
Aw, thanks, Angela.
Yeah. So this has been a great interview. I'm so happy that we had this conversation. I just have a couple of just closing questions, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
So my first question is, what does the word impact mean to you?
Okay. What does impact mean to me? The first thing that comes to my mind is energy. When you hear the word impact, it's like a powerful energy, right, behind it. So when I think of impact, I think about, first and foremost, I think about myself in the sense where if I'm going to show up and impact as many people as I can, I have to flip and get out of my way, do what I need to do to take care of myself and work on myself so I can become the best version of myself, right? Go through that process. But ultimately, I'm doing that for myself and to love myself, but also because I want to help as many people as I can. So it's that impact energy. It's that power behind it where you can make the ripple effect in people's lives and be the light, that you are. So, when I get into those places where I don't feel like I'm enough and all the coulda, shoulda, wouldas and all the stupid stories that we carry in our brains, I have to remind myself why I'm here on this planet. And I'm here to make an impact. So if I can't impact myself, what the freaking hell am I doing? So impact is it's a life force, right? So that's kind of like my whole take on it.
I have chills just listening to you say that, Jen. Full body chills.
Ooh.
And when the chills happen, we know there's some truth happening, right?
Give me some chills. Give me the chills.
Give me more of that. And I'm so glad that you brought that up. I thought that answer was just beautiful, because it's not only about impacting the world, because I think most of us want to make an impact in the world and help others, whether it's in a small scale or a big scale, however that looks to the individual, but also that knowing that in order to do the work that you need to do in this world, that you need to work on yourself, that you need to work on yourself first. And that it is not selfish, that it is actually selfish to not do the inner work, because when you're not doing the inner work, then you can't be your most bright, beautiful self out there helping people in the most authentic way, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's what the Empowered Warrior is all about. That's what this podcast is all about. That I feel like we have very aligned mission, which is why you're on this podcast today.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much, Jen. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you and know you. I'm so glad we met.
I know. Me too. Oh my gosh. It's been such a gift for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, it's my utmost pleasure, and I don't want to leave before you leave your how can people find you? Where are you? Where do you hang out?
Where do I hang out? I hang out at the 80s Club. Just come dance with me. I'm just kidding.
Can I come?
Yes. I love Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, which is at Jen Stillion. My website, which is under construction right now, but you could go to my website. It's jenstillion.com. Everything is Jen Stillion. It reminds you of Stillion. Yeah.
Jen with one N and Stillion is like million, right? Just with an ST and no M in the beginning.
Yeah. STI. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So for those of you that are unsure of the spelling, yay, Jen. Thank you so much.
Yay.
That was so much fun. Thank you for being my first guest.
Yay. You're welcome. That was fun.
All right, warriors, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, night, morning, wherever you're listening, whenever you're listening. And remember to go out there and make an impact. Take good care. Thank you so much for listening to the Empowered Warrior podcast. It is an honor and a privilege to have you as a listener. If you've enjoyed listening to this podcast and would like to help others pave their pathway to freedom, end their disempowerment and suffering, and become an empowered warrior, please share this podcast with your friends and family. Also, it is my intention to help humanity grow and evolve to their highest potential. So if you really enjoy what you're hearing, please help me spread the word by leaving a review in iTunes. Thank you again, and I am so grateful to be able to serve you in this very exciting way.